In the 1960s, the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense took a stand against white supremacy groups and police brutality. Leaders Huey Newton and Bobby Seale organized over 50 programs that help meet the needs of African American communities.
We shall overcome, Lord, one day.
Their actions created an awareness about police brutality against African Americans that is still relevant today among activists and social justice groups. Starting in the 1600s, American slaves were bought and sold in North America. From the beginning, it created a system of inequality and divided people over the minority of the issue. Eventually, it tore the United States into North and South during the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. Though slavery was abolished with the 13th Amendment, the foundation of segregation and discrimination against African Americans firmly remained in the South. The Jim Crow laws were state and local laws enacted after the Civil War to support segregation. The Civil Rights Movement was a nonviolent protest for African American rights. Although the movement was peaceful, the government responded with violence. Stokely Carmichael was a civil rights worker and head of a student nonviolent coordinating committee.
When white America killed Dr. King last night, she declared war on us. There will be no crying, there will be no funerals. The rebellions that have been occurring around the cities of this country is just light stuff to what is about to happen. We have to retaliate for the death of our leaders. The execution of those deaths will not be in the courtrooms. They're going to be in the streets of the United States of America.
In response to Stokely Carmichael's call to meet violence with violence, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale created the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. Panthers believed in revolutionary socialism. They created a 10-point program that focused on the self-defense of African American communities and organizing and building community-based programs.
It's a basic program, and it simply says exactly what black people have been crying for 400 years. One, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our own black communities. Two, we want full employment for our people. Three, we want decent housing fit for the shelter of human beings. Four, we want an end to the robbery of the black community by the white racist businessman. Five, we want decent education that teaches us about the true nature of this racist, decadent system. Education that teaches us about our true history and our role in society and the world today. Six, we want all black brothers to be exempt from military service. Seven, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. 8, we want all black brothers and sisters held in federal, county, state, city, jails, and prisons to be released because they have not had a fair trial. They've been tried. They've been tried by all white juries who have no understanding of the average reasonable man in the black community. Number 9, this is where Brother Huey is being caught. We just want the courts to make sure we have peers on the jury of people from the black community as defined by their jive constitution, the so-called United States. 10 is a summary with the major political objective. That is, we want land, bread, we want housing, clothing, education, we want justice, we want peace.
Not including Bobby Seale and Huey Newton, the original members were Big Man Howard, Sherman and Reggie Forte, and Little Bobby Hutton. Bobby Seale finds a law stating that people have the right to carry weapons as long as it is not concealed. Black Panthers began patrolling the streets of their communities in hopes of creating an environment in which revolutionary socialism will survive.
Children that didn't have a good breakfast in the morning were less attentive at school and less inclined to do well and suffered from fatigue. I mean, there was all sorts of scientific reasons to have a good breakfast in the morning. And we just simply took that information, and a program was developed serving breakfast to children.
After my father came home from Vietnam and was discharged from the Army and couldn't get work, we were going through a very hard time. Food was kind of, the everyday necessities were hard. I was embarrassed to go, but when you went, kids are all laughing. And then all of a sudden, the stigma, or whatever you thought was a stigma, went away. And you really got to see that, yes, this is what the Black Panthers are.
We were showing love for our people. If you have a child, if you know that, hey, these men and women are going to feed my child in the morning, that's a big deal.
The breakfast program actually really caught on. It served about 20,000 meals a week to young people in 19 different communities. So it wasn't a fly-by-night thing. It really actually was making a difference.
Black Panther offices opened up all over the United States. Huey Newton was arrested for allegedly killing a police officer during a traffic stop. He was convicted of manslaughter and was sentenced for 15 years. The Free Huey protest erupted throughout the country. Meanwhile, the FBI makes a statement that the Black nationalist groups will not be allowed to form. On December 9, 1968, the New York Times reported that 28 Panthers had been killed by the police since January. Bobby Seale is kidnapped and charged with starting a riot at the Democratic National Convention. Los Angeles Police Department raided the Black Panthers. 400 men, women, and children were arrested. The Black Party Central Committee fell apart in distrust of each other due to police brutality and the oppression from the FBI. Even though the Black Panther Party is no longer active, its legacy of protesting police violence and building community support from within still survives.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.